This fall, we're all gonna be looking sick. I have a few pieces already, but I have my eyes set out on certain pieces that I wanna buy. So we're gonna be going over all the fall pieces that I'm really excited to wear. We're gonna be doing a little bit of shopping. So this fall, we're all gonna be eating. First thing is a long sleeve polo. This is one of my more recent pickups. In fact, that's what I'm wearing right now. And although I love this piece, I'm not wearing it too much right now because it is still quite warm where I'm at. Only reason why I'm wearing it is because I'm inside with AC. This is a cashmere sweater polo from the brand Quince. This is clean, sophisticated. This one you could pick up for around $100. In case you're wondering, this is a size small and I am 5'8", 160 pounds. I absolutely just love this gray color. Now, typically in the fall, I'm definitely gonna be sticking to darker toned colors, but having a few pieces in lighter colors like this gray, I think this is a good piece to keep in your wardrobe, especially if there's one day where you want to look just like absolute class. This is the piece that I recommend. The next thing I'm really excited to wear is a wool coat. This is probably my favorite piece that I bought in my entire life. I bought this one 2 years ago from Banana Republic, and to this day, every single time it starts to get a little bit chilly, I am so excited to start wearing this again. I just mentioned that I love darker colors. Dark green is definitely one of my favorite colors. Now, unfortunately, from what I've seen, this one is sold out, but Banana Republic has a similar one in the color navy. Gotta say, I am very tempted to buy this, especially because since I wore this so many times, I already know that this is something that I like. So switching it up in a different color, I think could be a fantastic purchase. And if you've never tried out Banana Republic, I really recommend checking out Banana Republic Factory. There are way better deals on there. In fact, right now, especially since we're getting into the fall, brands like Banana Republic Factory are having tons of sales. This faux suede overshirt is $45. This dark green color is an absolute beauty. I added this to the cart. I'm probably gonna pick it up very soon. Another thing I added is the merino wool sweater polo. This is currently $47. They have a ton of different colors. Definitely excited to get one of these soon. Now, since this whole video is things that I'm so excited to wear, every single year, the main piece I look forward to is textured sweaters. Now, I already have a few in my wardrobe, but I'm gonna be picking up more because this is one of those things that I could wear every single day and I will never get tired of, especially because there are so many different types of textured sweaters. Things like ribbed, cable knit, so many different other ones. Again, going back to Quince, they have some of the best priced things that I've seen for the fall. Just like this one, I've gotten a ton of compliments in this one. They also have tons of different fabrics like wool, cashmere. In fact, I will say Quince definitely has some of the best prices when it comes to cashmere. So if that's a fabric that you've never tried before, definitely recommend trying it out. If you don't have enough sweaters already in your wardrobe, I would start off with just a simple crew neck sweater. This is clean, versatile, looks good with pretty much everything. Once you get a good crew neck, then I'll start swapping it up. You could try things like quarter zip sweaters, cardigan sweaters, and of course, my favorite is the polo sweater. My favorite cable knit sweater is from Polo Ralph Lauren. Every single year I've been saying that I'm gonna get a quarter zip from Polo Ralph Lauren. These are a little bit more expensive, but if I see a good sale on this, I'm gonna pick it up and I'll let you know when I do. So again, that way we're all dressing our best. Another brand that I'm gonna shop a lot more at is J. Crew. Now J. Crew is very expensive, but there also is a J. Crew factory. You're just sacrificing a little bit of the material, but for these kinds of prices, I honestly couldn't care less. They also have a ton of good sweaters, half zips. Like I said, I'm gonna be shopping here a ton. Now, if these are still a little bit too expensive for you, one brand I recommend is Hollister. Now, Hollister used to be very similar to Abercrombie, but I feel like this year they're slowing down on being similar. So from what I've noticed, Hollister is really focusing on like streetwear, and then Abercrombie still have the classic polos, the classic sweaters. So whatever your vibe is, if you want to dress more streetwear, one thing from Hollister I recommend is this boxy sweater. This one actually looks really cool. Although especially in the fall, my style tends to gravitate more towards formal pieces. I think this is still something that I'm going to play around with, because like I always say, it's always nice to switch things up and have a range of different styles depending on how you're feeling that day. Okay, let's move on to jackets. I'll be honest, when it comes to jackets, this is something that I'm lacking in right now, but no worries, there's still time to pick up some good jackets. So here are some things that I'm looking at. I think this year I really want a suede bomber jacket. There's so many good brands that have these. If you have any recommendations, I'm definitely open to some. But for this, I'm looking at J. Crew or maybe Express. One thing I'm so excited to pull out again is a leather jacket. Now, I don't have this one in hand, but last year I bought a cropped leather jacket from Abercrombie. That was one purchase that I wore so many different times. And although it was a little bit more pricey, I will say it's kind of a smart thing to save up a little bit of money. Instead of buying a ton of cheap things, don't think of it as blowing $150 on a jacket, but instead, if you wear the jacket multiple different times, then it was worth the money, opposed to buying one thing that's expensive, you only wear it a few times or maybe just one season. That is what I would consider a waste of money. So moving into the fall, really think think about what you are going to wear, what you look best in, and then invest money into those pieces. One thing that I want to get more into are vests. I'll be honest, I have no idea where I want to start with this one because there are so many different types of vests. So again, if you have any recommendations, feel free to let me know. This one definitely depends on where you live. For example, I live in San Diego. It doesn't really get too cold, so I definitely wouldn't mind a light vest. But if you're in a place that gets extremely cold, obviously you want to invest more money into a thicker piece, one that's actually going to keep you warm. So that is definitely one thing to keep in mind. All right, another thing that I'm pulling out that's an absolute classic for me is a good hoodie. If you've watched this channel before, you know there's only one brand that I really recommend for hoodies. That's ours. This video is not sponsored. And although I'm repetitive when it comes to this brand of hoodies, I would rather be repetitive of a brand that's actually good, opposed to just recommending random brands just for the sake of switching things up. If you have a brand that you like, especially for one specific thing, then by all means, continue to shop there. Those are pretty much all the tops that I'm really excited to wear. So moving on to pants, of course, you need the classic black jeans, dark wash jeans. I prefer them in a straight or slim fit. That way it's versatile enough to go with everything else that you're wearing. Once you have those, then you could experiment with different things. And if you haven't tried out a pair of trousers yet, this is the year that you definitely should. Trousers just look so good. This is one thing that you could wear and it'll make you look completely different. I have a pair of corduroy trousers that again, I've had for several years now and I never get tired of it. In fact, despite me having these for years, every single time that we get into the fall, I am so excited to pull these out again. That being said, I'm gonna be looking into other trousers in different colors. Now on a day that I just wanna be casual, I don't feel like dressing up too much, one pair of pants that I'm really into are something like carpenter jeans. I like these because I think it's easier to experiment with different colors just because again, it's a casual look. I love this pair of dark brown. This is easily one of my favorite colors. Now, aside from trousers, I really don't experiment with too many different types of pants, but I think this year I definitely want to. Open to suggestions. All right, another thing that I'm so excited to start wearing again are fall colognes. Fall fragrances just smell amazing. I'm so excited to start wearing something that's stronger, darker, more masculine. I'll be honest, doing social media, you get sent quite a few things. Definitely one of the things that brands are generous with are colognes. I just want to be transparent. I'm not getting paid to talk about this, but one cologne that's coming out that smells amazing is this one from Hugo Boss. I wish I recorded my reaction to the first time I smelled this. I love this fragrance. In fact, I probably would say that this one smells better than YSL myself. And that's a bold statement for me because I love YSL myself. I'll leave the notes on screen. This is probably gonna be my go-to fragrance. Now this one still is a bit lighter. If you want something that's really dark, stronger with you parfum. If you want one cologne that's gonna make you smell incredible, everybody's gonna smell it because it's so strong, this is the one that you should go with. One cologne that I got last year that I absolutely love is Azaro The Most Wanted Intense. Just keep in mind, this one is so strong, so I really wouldn't wear this to school, but if you're going out at night to something like a date, I would pull out this one. This one is really gonna stand out. The next thing I'm so excited to pull out are boots. Of course, my classic Thursday boots. I love these. Never get tired of these. These go with anything. This is another one of those items that's expensive. I think these retail for 200 bucks, but Thursday boots are gonna last you a very long time. I've had mine for several years. If you want something cheaper, something like Doc Martens are always gonna be a good option. In fact, this year I wanna get some brown Doc Martens just to switch things up. My absolute favorite pair of boots are these from Common Projects. These are insanely expensive. I'll be honest, didn't pay for these. Although I really like these boots, I really can't justify spending that much money on a pair of boots, but I'm gonna be leaving some alternatives, hopefully to at least be worth the money if you decide that you want a pair of boots that are similar to these. But again, I'm definitely gonna be switching things up. I want some new pair of boots. I'm probably gonna be looking at another pair of Thursday boots because they have several different styles. Like I said, boys, we're all gonna be looking good, especially with these pickups. Let me know what you're most excited to start wearing. And other than that, I'll see you in the next one.